I know this place isn't very fancy for a first date.
It is the company that matters most, not the price tag.
Billionaire pretended to be poor on their first date, but the humble girl's heart made him fall completely in love. Before we start the story, let us know in the comments what city you're watching from. And, at the end, don't forget to rate this story from 0 to 10. Enjoy the story, everyone. 6:42 in the evening. Exactly 18 minutes left until the most important date of Lily Carter's life. And the blue dress had decided to declare war. "Listen here, you ungrateful piece of fabric," Lily growled, holding the wrinkled material in front of the mirror in her small Portland apartment. "I rescued you from the clearance rack. I saved you from a life of abandonment. I washed you with expensive soap. And this is how you repay me? With these wrinkles? You look like a subway map." The dress remained silent, obviously. "Oh, now you have nothing to say. Typical. Just like all my ex-boyfriends." Lily pulled the dress over her head and started jumping. It wasn't a graceful jump. It was the kind of jump a person makes when trying to squeeze their body into fabric that clearly belongs to someone 2 sizes smaller. 6:47. 13 minutes. She finally managed to zip it up, but only after holding her breath in a way that probably wasn't healthy. She ran to the bathroom, grabbed her red lipstick. Not too red, the exact shade of "I'm interesting but not trying too hard," and leaned toward the mirror. The lipstick slipped. Lily watched in slow motion as the tube bounced off the sink, ricocheted off the faucet, and rolled with surgical precision to the one place in the bathroom she could never reach. The 5-centimeter gap between the toilet and the wall. She stood still, staring at the dark hole. "You've got to be kidding me." The lipstick didn't answer. Nobody was answering today. Lily got on her knees, stretched her arm, and stuck her hand into that space that probably hadn't been cleaned since the building was constructed. Her elbow hit the flush handle. The noise filled the entire bathroom. She fished out the lipstick, stood up victorious, and looked down. There was a dust stain on the dress's knee. "Fantastic," she told the mirror. "Simply fantastic. You know what? I give up. I'm going to show up to this date looking like an earthquake survivor, and he'll just have to accept it." 6:53. 7 minutes. The cafe was a 10-minute walk away. Lily grabbed her purse, shoved her phone inside, grabbed her keys, and flew out the door. The third-floor hallway was empty. Silent. She could hear her own heart beating as she walked to the stairs. The building's elevator was under maintenance. Since 2019. Lily was pretty sure the elevator had given up on life. She started going down. First step, second, third, fourth, fifth. The heel of her shoe, that little 4-centimeter heel she had chosen specifically because it's impossible to fall in low heels, met an irregular edge on the 5th step. Lily's ankle twisted to the left. Lily's body went to the right. Lily's arms spread open as if she were trying to fly. Lily's purse took off toward the ceiling. And Lily Carter went down the next 4 steps in a way that defied all laws of physics and human dignity. She landed on the 2nd-floor landing, sitting, with her legs spread, the dress twisted in a way she preferred not to think about. Her purse was thrown 3 meters away. Her phone was blinking in the corner, its cracked screen reflecting the light. For 5 whole seconds, Lily didn't move. Then, slowly, she looked up, at the empty hallway, at the closed doors of the neighboring apartments. "That was on purpose," she announced out loud, to no one in particular. "It was an artistic choice, contemporary dance performance. You people wouldn't understand." The stairwell echoes swallowed her words. Lily got up, fixed her dress, checked if anything was broken, bones, pride, hopes, collected her purse and phone, and continued going down, this time gripping the handrail so tightly her fingers turned white. 7:04 in the evening. 4 minutes late. She left the building and started running. It wasn't exactly running. It was more like a strange hybrid between walking fast and stumbling forward. Running in heels was an extreme sport no one should ever attempt. 7:11. 11 minutes late. Lily spotted the Maple Bean Cafe sign and felt her stomach sink. She stopped in front of the glass door and tried to pull herself together. Her hair looked like a bird's nest that had survived a hurricane. The dress had creases in places that shouldn't have creases. She was sweating in regions of her body she didn't even know had glands. You can do this, she whispered to her own reflection in the window. Go in there. Smile. Act like a normal person. You know how to pretend you're normal. You pretend every day at work. She pushed the door open. The cafe was beautiful. Brick walls, warm yellow light, smell of roasted beans, soft music playing quietly, wooden tables scattered throughout the room, some occupied by couples, others by lonely people on computers. And there, in the corner near the window, was he, Caleb, the man from the app photos. Only better. Annoyingly better. He had messy brown hair, a defined jawline, eyes that always seemed about to laugh. He wore a simple gray t-shirt and a leather jacket that had clearly seen better days. Nothing flashy, nothing showy. He was looking at the door, waiting for her. Lily felt her brain shut down. She walked to the table. Each step seemed to last forever. He stood up when she approached, polite, gentlemanly, the kind of man her grandmother would approve of. And then Lily opened her mouth. Hi. Sorry I'm late. I fell, down the stairs. Not the whole staircase, just part of it, about 4 steps. Or 5. I didn't stop to count because I was busy trying not to break my face, which would be tragic because my face is the only thing I have that works right, most days. Not today. Clearly not today. Anyway, hi, I'm Lily. She finally stopped talking. The silence that followed was deafening. Caleb stared at her. His face was completely unreadable. For a second, Lily was absolutely certain he was going to grab his things and run. Then he broke into a smile. A huge, genuine smile that took over his entire face. Hi Lily, I'm Caleb, and I need to know, did the steps survive? Lily blinked. What? The steps. You said you fell down 4 or 5. Are they okay? Will they need therapy? She let out a laugh that came out more like a scared dog's bark. Probably. I left marks, from my heels, and from lost dignity. Dignity is overrated, Caleb said, pulling out the chair for her to sit. Sit down. You look like you need coffee. I look like I need a new identity and a one-way ticket to another continent, but coffee works too. Lily sat down. Her purse ended up on her lap like a protective shield between her and reality. Caleb went back to his seat, still smiling. There was something in his eyes, something Lily couldn't figure out. It looked like enchantment? No, impossible. Nobody gets enchanted by walking disasters. So, he said, are you always like this, or is today special? Like what? Like this. Intense, sincere, honest in a way that's a little scary. Lily considered the question. Unfortunately, this is normal. I don't have a filter. My brain thinks something and my mouth is already talking before I decide if it's a good idea. My therapist says it's anxiety. My mother says it's lack of manners. I say it's efficiency. Why think twice when you can think once and regret it later? Caleb laughed. A real laugh, from deep down. Efficiency. I like that perspective. You're the first? Really? The others usually ask for the check at this point in the conversation. Caleb tilted his head, studying her with curiosity. The others are idiots. Lily felt something strange in her chest, something warm. She didn't know what to do with that feeling. So she did what she always did when she didn't know what to do. Changed the subject. This cafe has a weird smell. Weird how? Smells like a depressed toaster. Caleb frowned. Depressed toaster? Yeah. You know when you forget bread in the toaster and it burns a little, but doesn't burn enough for you to throw it away, so you eat it anyway and spend the rest of the day with the taste of regret in your mouth? That smell. But in coffee form. Caleb stared at her for 1 second, 2, 3, and then he started laughing so hard that people at nearby tables looked over. Stop, he said, wiping his eyes. Stop. Depressed toaster. I'm going to think about that every time I walk into a cafe for the rest of my life. You're welcome. I ruin food experiences for free. It's my service to the community. You're amazing. The word hit Lily like a punch to the stomach. Amazing. He had said amazing. Not weird. Not crazy. Not too intense. Amazing. She didn't know what to say back, so she grabbed the menu to hide behind it and dropped it. The menu hit the table, hit the salt shaker. The salt shaker tipped over and rolled into the sugar bowl. The sugar bowl wobbled dangerously close to the edge. Caleb reached out and caught the sugar bowl in the air, half an inch from disaster. Reflexes, he said, putting the sugar bowl back. Played baseball in high school. Thank you. You just saved this coffee shop from a sugary disaster. I would have been banned from here forever. Would have had to move neighborhoods, maybe cities. All of Portland owes me one. It really does. You should get a statue, Caleb, the sugar savior. He laughed again, and Lily noticed she was starting to like that sound. So, she said, trying to sound casual and failing miserably, what do you do, like for work, profession, making a living? I work with energy. Energy? Like electrician. Something crossed Caleb's face, too quick for Lily to identify. Like that, yes, something like that. Cool. Electricians are useful. Once my bathroom light stopped working, and I spent 3 weeks showering in the dark because I was terrified of messing with the wiring and ending up as a news story. Caleb almost spit out his coffee. 3 weeks? In the dark? What? It was relaxing, even meditative. I pretended I was in a cave with a shower and plumbing problems. Lily? What? You're the most ridiculous person I've ever met. She felt her heart tighten. Here we go. The part where he realizes she's too much, too chaotic, too weird. And I love it, he finished. Lily blinked. You? What? Love. It? You? All this craziness? It's refreshing. She was quiet for a moment, processing. Did you hit your head today? No. Are you on any medication? No. Did you lose a bet? Caleb leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes fixed on hers. Lily, I'm on a date with a woman who fell downstairs, declared it was on purpose, compared this coffee shop to a depressed toaster, and almost caused a sugary disaster in the first 10 minutes. And I'm having more fun than I've had in years. That means something. Lily swallowed hard. It means you have really low standards? It means you're real, and real is rare. Her heart did something strange, something that felt like hope, something that felt like possibility, something that felt like the beginning of a story she didn't know how it would end. You're weird, she said. Thank you. That wasn't a compliment. I know, but I'll take it anyway. Lily smiled. A real smile, not forced, not fake. And in that moment, sitting in a coffee shop that smelled like a depressed toaster, across from a man who wore a worn jacket and laughed at her jokes, Lily Carter felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. She felt that maybe, just maybe, she didn't need to be perfect. Maybe messy was enough. What she didn't know, what she couldn't know, was that the man across from her wasn't any electrician, that the worn jacket was a carefully chosen costume, that the cheap coffee was part of a plan, and that behind that gentle smile there was a secret the size of a skyscraper. But that was a discovery for another chapter. For now, all that mattered was that Lily had made a handsome man laugh, and that, for her, was already a victory. Lily was still trying to understand how this man in a worn jacket could look at her like she was the most interesting thing in the universe. Nobody had ever looked at her like that. With curiosity, with charm, with something that seemed genuine instead of polite. She took another sip of coffee, burned her tongue, again. Hot, she mumbled to herself. Still hot. Who would have thought coffee stays hot after 2 minutes? Do you always narrate your own tragedies out loud? Caleb asked, amused. Just the small ones. The big ones I save for crying in the shower like a mature person. He laughed. Lily was starting to catalog his laughs. This was number 4. Surprise mixed with delight. She put down her cup and noticed there was a napkin in front of her. White, simple, completely crumpled in a way that suggested someone, probably herself, had nervously destroyed it in the last few minutes without realizing it. Did I do this? She asked, pointing at the destroyed paper. You did. It was mesmerizing. You tore, folded, tore again, made a little ball, undid the ball, and now it looks like a war map. I didn't even notice. I know. You were too busy being adorable. Lily choked on air. Sorry, what? Adorable. You're adorable. I look like a hurricane survivor who just fought with stairs and is actively destroying paper property. That's not adorable. That's a diagnosis. Caleb grabbed a new napkin from the dispenser in the center of the table. Lily watched as he tried to fold the paper into some presentable shape, folded it one way, then the other, then looked at the result like the napkin had personally insulted his family. What are you doing? She asked, trying to fold this into a triangle. Why? Because that's how sophisticated people use napkins. In fancy restaurants. I saw it in a movie once. We're in a coffee shop that smells like a depressed toaster. Sophistication walked out the door along with my dignity. Caleb ignored the comment and kept struggling. He folded again, crumpled, tried to smooth it out, folded once more. The napkin now looked like abstract art made by someone very confused. Is this a triangle? He asked, holding up the result. Lily tilted her head, studying the shapeless form. That's a diamond having a nervous breakdown. Diamond? Or maybe a hexagon that gave up on life. It's hard to say. Geometry is crying somewhere. Caleb looked at the napkin, looked at her, and threw the paper on the table in dramatic defeat. I give up. Napkins are my limit. That's okay. Everyone has a limit. Mine is stairs. Yours is paper towel origami. We're all imperfect humans. He smiled. That smile she was starting to memorize. Smile number 5, amused surrender with a touch of charm. Lily felt her stomach do something strange. Something like butterflies, but more chaotic. As if the butterflies were fighting each other. Can I ask you something? He said, leaning slightly forward. You technically already asked, but go ahead. Why did you agree to go out with me? The question hung in the air. Simple in words, dangerous in implications. You want the polite version or the real version? Real. Always real. Lily took a deep breath. Because you were the only guy on the app who didn't start the conversation with, "Hey, gorgeous," or send a shirtless photo in front of a bathroom mirror. You said, "Hi, I like books and bad coffee, want to chat?" And I thought, this guy is either a very polite serial killer or genuinely decent. I decided to risk the second option. Caleb raised his eyebrows. Serial killer was on the list of possibilities? It always is. Anyone can be anything, statistically speaking. You research statistics before our date? No, maybe. Yes, I research weird things when I get nervous. Did you know hippos are more dangerous than sharks? That has nothing to do with you. Or maybe it does. I haven't ruled out the possibility that you're a hippo in disguise. Caleb stared at her for a long second. That's the strangest thing anyone has ever said to me. Sorry, my mouth works faster than my brain. It's a condition. Don't apologize. I like it. You like being compared to a potentially dangerous hippo? I like honesty. And you're the most honest person I've ever met. Lily felt her face warm up. She didn't know how to respond to compliments. Never did. When someone said something nice about her, her brain panicked and said the first thing that came up. You're honest, too, she said. I mean, you seem honest. Or you're a very good liar, which technically means you wouldn't be honest, but you seem honest. I'm gonna stop talking now. Please, don't stop. You're actively asking for more of this craziness? I am. It's the most fun date I've ever had. She blinked. You need to get out more. Or maybe I finally found the right person to go out with. Lily's heart did something dramatic. Something that felt like hope. Something that felt like possibility. Something that felt absolutely terrifying. And then, because the universe clearly had a sense of humor, her phone rang. Loud. With that alarm ringtone she had set for emergencies and never remembered to change. Lily jumped in her chair. The coffee cup wobbled. She tried to grab the phone, but her fingers slipped. The device flew from her purse, hit the table, bounced once, and landed inside Caleb's coffee cup. The silence that followed was absolute. Lily looked at the cup. The phone bubbled sadly in the brown liquid. That, she started, was my coffee, Caleb finished. Yes. And now there's a phone in it. Also, yes, Caleb looked at her, looked at the cup, and started laughing so hard that people at other tables turned to look. Lily stuck her hand in the cup, fished out the soaked phone, and tried to dry it on her shirt, which only spread coffee on her clothes. I should leave, she said, mortified. I should apologize, pay for your coffee, and never show up in this town again. Or, Caleb said, still laughing, you could stay. Why? I just drowned my phone in your coffee. Exactly, and I want to see what you do in the next 10 minutes. Lily stared at him. This strange, kind man who didn't know how to fold napkins and who laughed when she destroyed things. You're crazy, she said. Maybe, but will you stay? She looked at the soaked phone, at the empty cup, at his smile. I'll go. The date lasted 2 more hours. Lily knocked over one more thing, told 3 more ridiculous stories, and laughed until her stomach hurt. When they finally said goodbye at the cafe door, Caleb held her hand for a second longer than necessary. Can I see you again? He asked. Even after all this? Especially after all this. Lily smiled. A real smile. Yes. She walked home floating. The phone was still wet, the dress was still wrinkled, and she was still a complete disaster. But for the first time in a long while, that didn't seem like a problem. It just seemed like, And someone had liked her that way. What Lily didn't know was that, at that exact moment, Caleb was standing on the sidewalk, watching her leave, with one question hammering in his head. How was he going to tell her who he really was? Caleb Morgan's apartment occupied the top floor of one of Portland's most expensive buildings. Floor-to-ceiling windows, panoramic view of the city, furniture that cost more than a normal person's annual salary. And he was sitting on the $12,000 couch eating cereal straight from the box. "You're pathetic," said Marcus, his best friend, sprawled in the armchair across the room. "Billionaire eating cereal at 11 at night like a broke college student." "I'm not a billionaire, I'm a multimillionaire. There's a difference. The difference is one yacht, you have 3. 2, I sold one. Oh, so now you're poor? Sorry, want me to start a fundraiser?" Caleb threw a piece of cereal in Marcus's direction, missed by 6 feet. "Your aim is terrible," Marcus said. "More proof that money can't buy skill." "My aim is perfectly adequate for someone who hasn't practiced since high school." "You had a throwing personal trainer in high school?" "No, I had an older brother who used my head as target practice." Marcus laughed and stretched his legs on the coffee table. A coffee table that probably cost more than a compact car. "So," he said with that casual tone that always meant trouble, "how was the date with the app girl?" Caleb stopped chewing. "It was interesting." "Interesting like never want to see this person again, or interesting like I'm having thoughts my therapist will love to analyze?" "The second one." Marcus straightened up in his chair. "Tell me." "She fell down the stairs before arriving. Charming. Compared the coffee to a depressed toaster. Creative. Destroyed a napkin without noticing, compared me to a hippo, and drowned her phone in my cup." Marcus was silent for a full 3 seconds. "Caleb, what? You're in love. I met her 4 hours ago. And you're sitting there with a happy idiot face talking about destroyed napkins. That's love. Or a stroke, one of the two." Caleb set the cereal box aside and rubbed his face with his hands. Marcus wasn't totally wrong. Lily had messed up something inside him, something he thought was safely tucked away. "She doesn't know who I am," he said finally. "Obviously. You were wearing your normal guy costume." "It's not a costume, it's a filter." "It's a lie, Caleb. Well-intentioned, but a lie. It's protection. You know how many people have tried to get close to me because of the money? The last girlfriend literally researched my net worth before our first date. I saw her search history." "How did you see her search history?" "She left her laptop open at my apartment. There was a spreadsheet, Marcus. A spreadsheet comparing my net worth to other candidates." Marcus made a face. "Okay, that's creepy. So yes, I wear old jackets and go to cheap cafes, because I need to know if someone likes me or what I have. And Lily?" Caleb thought about her laugh. The way she covered her face when she said something embarrassing. The absolute sincerity she seemed unable to filter. "She thought I was an electrician." "You told her you were an electrician?" "I said I worked with energy," she assumed. "And you didn't correct her?" "No." Marcus shook his head slowly. "You're going to get in so much trouble." "I know. She'll find out eventually." "I know. And when she finds out, she'll be furious because you lied." "Technically, I didn't lie. I omitted." "Oh, sure. Because I omitted that I own a clean energy company worth $800 million is totally different from lying." Caleb got up and walked to the window. Portland sparkled below. Thousands of lights. Thousands of people living normal lives. Lives where they could go on a date without worrying if the other person was interested in them or their bank balance. "I'm going to ask her out again," he said. "With or without the poor guy costume?" "With, Caleb. Just a little longer. Just until I'm sure." "Sure of what?" Caleb turned to face his friend. "That she likes me, the real Caleb. Not the Caleb from the business magazines." Marcus sighed. It was the sigh of someone who knew he was losing a battle. "What if she's the right person and you ruin everything with this lie?" "Then I'll have ruined it." "That doesn't worry you." "It terrifies me. But you know what terrifies me more? Spending the rest of my life not knowing if someone really loves me." The silence that followed was heavy. Marcus looked at his childhood friend, at the guy who had built an empire before 30 and still ate cereal on the couch like a teenager. "You're the luckiest idiot I know," Marcus finally said. "Why? Because this girl seems crazy enough to actually like you." Caleb smiled. A small smile, but genuine. "She is crazy. Completely. Absolutely. And you love that." "I love that." Marcus stood up, grabbed the abandoned cereal box, and walked to the kitchen. Go on then. Ask her out. Pretend you're poor. Fall in love. Then call me crying when it all blows up in your face. You're a terrible friend. I'm the only friend who tells you the truth. The others are afraid of losing their yacht invitations. I only have 2 yachts now. Still. Caleb pulled his phone from his pocket. The screen showed his conversation with Lily. The last message was from her, sent 20 minutes ago. I managed to turn on my phone. It smells like coffee. I think I'm now officially a person who smells like coffee inside and out. You're welcome for that mental image. He laughed to himself. You're laughing at your phone, Marcus shouted from the kitchen. That's sad. Shut up. Caleb started typing, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. Finally, he sent, Want to go out with me again? I promise you can drown as many electronics as you want in my coffee. The response came in 12 seconds. You're inviting my destructive tendencies to a second date? How brave. I accept. Caleb smiled at the screen like a complete idiot. In the kitchen, Marcus rolled his eyes. In love, he muttered to himself. Completely in love. This is going to end in disaster or marriage. Maybe both. The pedestrian light had been red for exactly 2 minutes and 47 seconds. Lily knew because she was counting and talking. Listen here, you have one job, she said to the pole with the red light. One job. Turn green once in a while. It's not complicated. Red, green, 5-year-olds understand this. A lady next to her took 2 steps to the side. I'm not crazy, Lily explained to the lady. I'm just late for a date, and this traffic light is clearly having an existential breakdown. The lady took 3 more steps to the side. The light finally turned green. Thank you, Lily said, crossing the street. Was that so hard? She was on her way to the movie theater in downtown Portland. Second date with Caleb. This time she had prepared. She had left home 40 minutes early. She had chosen flat shoes. She had even practiced normal phrases in front of the mirror. Hi, Caleb. Good to see you. Normal, simple, impossible to mess up. She spotted the movie theater across the square, and there he was. Caleb, standing at the entrance, wearing the same worn jacket, looking at his phone. Handsome. Annoyingly handsome. Lily took a deep breath and walked toward him. That's when the sandal decided to rebel. It wasn't really a flip-flop. It was a flat sandal she had bought because flat sandals are safe. Nothing can go wrong with flat sandals. The left strap simply broke. In the middle of the square. Lily kept walking for 3 more steps before she realized she was limping. She looked down. Her left foot was completely barefoot, and the traitorous sandal had been left behind. No, she whispered. No, no, no. She turned around, limped back to the sandal, and tried to put her foot back in it. The strap was broken. Completely useless. Why? She asked the sandal. Why do you do this to me? I bought you 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks? That's a ridiculous life expectancy. Technical difficulties? Lily looked up. Caleb was there, right there. He had crossed the square and now looked at her with that smile she already knew. Smile number 2 contained amusement. My sandal declared independence, she said, still holding the broken shoe. It decided it doesn't want to be part of my wardrobe federation anymore. I can see that. It's a rebellion. I should have seen the signs. It was never very loyal. Caleb crouched down, took the sandal from her hand, and examined the broken strap. I think I can tie a temporary knot. Do you know how to tie a knot on a sandal? I know how to tie knots on many things. It's an underrated skill. He tied a knot on the strap. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. Lily put the sandal back on her foot and tested it. It works, she said, genuinely impressed. You saved my foot from public humiliation. All of Portland owes me one. It really does. First the sugar bowl, now my foot. You're basically a superhero for small emergencies. They walked together to the movie theater entrance. Lily took the tickets out of her purse. She had bought them online because this time she was going to be organized, and handed them to the employee. The employee looked at the papers. These tickets are for tomorrow. The world stopped spinning. What? Tomorrow's date, October 23rd. Today is the 22nd. Lily looked at the tickets, at the printed date, at the employee, at Caleb, at the entire universe that was clearly conspiring against her. I bought the wrong tickets, she said, her voice going up an octave. I literally had one task. One. Buy tickets for today, and I bought them for tomorrow. It happens, Caleb said calmly. It doesn't happen. This is basic incompetence. I'm a librarian. I organize books by alphabetical order and Dewey Decimal, and I can't buy a ticket for the right date. Lily. I should come with an instruction manual. Warning, this person cannot perform simple functions without causing disasters. Lily? Maybe I should wear an ID bracelet. If found confused, return to library. Lily. She finally stopped talking. Caleb was smiling. Not a judgmental smile, a genuine smile. I don't care about the movie. You should care. I ruined the date. You didn't ruin anything. Come on, let's walk. He took her hand. Just like that. Without warning. Without permission. His fingers intertwined with hers like it was the most natural thing in the world. Lily forgot how to breathe. They started walking through the square. Holding hands. Like a real couple. Like people who knew what they were doing. Your heart is beating really fast, Caleb said. You can feel that through my hand? I can see it in your neck. That's embarrassing. That's adorable. You think too many things are adorable. Your measuring stick is broken. Or maybe I just found the right person to find adorable. Lily felt her face heat up. She didn't know how to respond, didn't know how to process. This gentle, patient man who fixed sandals and didn't care about wrong tickets. Why was he here? With her? Caleb. Yeah? Why do you like me? The question came out before she could stop it. Raw, honest, vulnerable. He stopped walking, turned to face her. Because you fight with broken sandals in the middle of the square. Because you say what you think, even when you shouldn't. Because you're a complete disaster and don't pretend to be anything else. Those are all flaws. That's all you, and I like you. Lily felt her eyes sting, not from sadness, from something that felt like hope, something that felt like possibility. You're weird, she said. You too. That wasn't a compliment, I know, but I'll take it anyway. She laughed, a wet laugh, kind of choked up. They went back to walking, holding hands, in comfortable silence. And for a moment, Lily allowed herself to believe that maybe, just maybe, she could have this. Someone who liked her the way she was. What she didn't know was that, on the other side of the square, a woman with a professional camera had just recognized Caleb Morgan and was taking pictures. They were still walking through the square when Caleb suddenly stopped, looking at a poster stuck on a pole. Free exhibition, he read out loud. Contemporary sculptures, free admission until 10 at night. Lily looked at the poster, then at the movie theater that had rejected her future tickets. Then at Caleb. You want to go see sculptures, like, now? Why not? The movie was just an excuse to spend time with you. Sculptures work just the same. That was either really sweet or really cheesy. I can't decide. It can be both. All right, let's go see art that I won't understand and pretend I'm cultured. The warehouse was a 10-minute walk away, near the Willamette River. Free admission, brick walls, yellow lighting, and sculptures that looked like they had been created by someone in an altered state of consciousness. Lily lasted approximately 40 seconds before opening her mouth. That sculpture looks like broccoli having a midlife crisis, she said, pointing to a piece of twisted metal in the center of the hall. Caleb tilted his head, studying the piece. I was going to say it looks like a tree. A tree that gave up being a tree and now works in accounting. Look at the posture, defeated, sad, probably pays taxes. He laughed, that laugh that Lily was collecting in her mind. Do you always see things like that? Things like what? Stories. In everything. Lily thought for a moment. I guess so. It's a flaw. I look at an empty chair and think, who sat there? Were they sad? Were they waiting for someone who never came? My therapist says it's imaginative hyperactivity. My mom says it's unnecessary drama. I think it's a gift. A gift for being weird? A gift for seeing the world in a way other people can't. Lily felt her face get warm. She didn't know how to handle compliments. Never did. You're very kind, she said. Suspiciously kind. Suspiciously? Nobody's that nice for free. You must have some terrible secret. Like, you collect stamps, or watch reality shows in secret, or your real name is Gertrude. Something crossed Caleb's face, quick, almost imperceptible, but Lily saw it. Everyone has secrets, he said, looking away toward another sculpture. Are yours interesting? Depends on the definition of interesting. You're mysterious. I don't know if I like mysterious. Mysterious usually means problem that hasn't exploded yet. Caleb was quiet for a moment too long. Lily, he said finally, if I told you something, Something important? Would you listen before reacting? Her heart sped up. Is this about you collecting stamps? Because I can get over that. Not easily, but I can. He didn't laugh. It's serious. Caleb, you're scaring me. He turned to face her. His eyes had something Lily couldn't figure out. Fear? Guilt? Hope? I need to tell you that? Hey, you two. An exhibition staff member approached, smiling with professional enthusiasm. Want to participate in our interactive mural? Each visitor can leave a message about their dreams. Lily looked at Caleb. He had closed his mouth. The moment had passed. Sure, she said to the staff member. We love leaving messages about dreams for strangers to judge. The staff member handed them 2 pieces of colored paper and pens. What are you going to write? Caleb asked. I'm thinking. Dreams are complicated. Why? Because mine are kind of pathetic. He frowned. Pathetic how? Lily bit her lip, but something about that night made her want to be honest. I dream about small things, she said. I don't want to be rich or famous. I want to have a house with a yard, a fat dog that does nothing all day, someone who likes me even when I wake up with hair looking like a nuclear accident. That's not pathetic. It's too simple. Everyone wants to change the world. I just want a fat dog. Fat dogs are underrated, she laughed. What about you? What do you dream about? Caleb looked at the paper. For a long moment he said nothing. I dream about being seen, he said finally. Not for what I have or what I do, just me. Lily felt something tighten in her chest. That's sad. Why? Because it means you feel invisible, and you're the most present person I've ever met. Caleb stared at her. His eyes were different, vulnerable. You're incredible, he said. You know that? I'm a walking disaster who talks to sculptures. Exactly. Incredible. She looked away, picking up the pen. She wrote on the paper, I want a fat dog named Ham. Caleb looked over her shoulder. Ham? It's a solid name. Reliable. Ham would never let you down. She stuck the paper on the mural. Caleb stuck his next to it but covered it before she could read it. Secret, he said, you and your secrets. One day I'll tell you all of them. Promise? He hesitated, just for a second, but Lily noticed. I promise. They left the warehouse holding hands. The night air was cold. Lily rested her head on his shoulder as they walked. Caleb. Yeah? There's something about you I can't figure out. He stopped walking. Something bad? I don't know yet. Just different. Like you're 2 people at the same time. He didn't answer. That night, lying in bed, Lily stared at the ceiling thinking about him, about the silences that lasted a second too long. She picked up her phone and typed his name in the search bar. Caleb Morgan, Portland. Her finger hovered over the search button, and then she closed the app. No, she was going to trust him. What she didn't know was that across town someone had already done that search for her, and was about to call. Lily's phone rang at 7:43 in the morning. Nobody calls at 7:43 in the morning with good news. He's a spy, said Megan's voice before Lily could even say hello. What? Caleb, the guy, your mysterious boyfriend. He's a spy. Or a criminal spy. Does that exist? Lily rubbed her eyes and sat up in bed. Megan, it's 7 in the morning. 7:44, and this is an emergency. Emergency about what? About you dating a ghost. Lily sighed. Megan had been her best friend since high school. Loyal, funny, protective, and completely paranoid. He's not a ghost. Then explain to me why he doesn't exist on the internet. What do you mean he doesn't exist? I searched. I spent 2 hours searching. Caleb Morgan, Portland. You know what comes up? Nothing. Zero. A black hole of information. No social media profile. No graduation photo. No mention anywhere. It's like he was manufactured yesterday in a factory for handsome, mysterious men. Lily was quiet for a moment. You searched the guy I'm dating for 2 hours? I worry about you. That's not worry. That's investigative obsession. It's love. Love with advanced research resources. And the resources say your boyfriend doesn't exist. Maybe he just doesn't use social media. Some people are like that. Psychopaths. People like that are psychopaths. Megan, or spies, or killers, or those guys who have 3 families in different states. Did you ever watch that documentary about the man who had a wife in Ohio, girlfriend in Texas, and a whole third life in Florida? He didn't have social media either. You're comparing Caleb to a bigamist from Florida. Trigamist. It was 3 women. Technically, it would be trigamist. And yes, I'm comparing. because men without a digital footprint are suspicious. Lily got up and went to the kitchen, her phone pressed between her shoulder and ear. "He's kind, Megan. He fixed my sandal. He didn't mind when I drowned my phone in his coffee." Classic predator behavior, seeming too perfect. Or classic nice person behavior. Nobody is that nice, not naturally. He's hiding something. Lily opened the refrigerator, closed it. She wasn't hungry. She had a knot in her stomach. "What if he is?" she said, her voice lower now. "What if he is hiding something? Then you run, fast, preferably to another state." "I like him, Megan." The silence on the other end of the line lasted a full 3 seconds. "I know you like him," Megan said, her tone finally softening. "That's why I'm worried. You have a history of liking the wrong guys." "Thanks for reminding me. I'm not throwing it in your face. I'm saying you deserve someone who doesn't make you feel like you're putting together a puzzle without the picture on the box." Lily rested her forehead against the refrigerator door. "He said he has secrets, that someday he'll tell me." "When? When you're already married and he reveals he's a vampire?" "Vampires don't exist. Men without social media shouldn't exist either. And yet here we are." Lily laughed. A weak laugh, but still a laugh. "What do you want me to do?" "Ask him. Directly. Caleb, are you a spy, criminal, or vampire? Please check all that apply." "You're ridiculous." "I'm your friend, and friends ask ridiculous questions to protect each other." Across town, Caleb Morgan was having an equally complicated morning. The conference room at the company office occupied the 20th floor of a building in downtown Portland. Mahogany table, leather chairs, 12 people in expensive suits looking at him like he was a problem to be solved. "The Innovation and Arts Gala is next week," said Victoria, the public relations director. "You need to be there." "I know. With full attendance, speech, photos, interviews, the whole package." "I know. Then why do you have that look like you'd rather be anywhere else on the planet?" Caleb looked out the window. Portland gleamed below, normal, ordinary, everything he wanted to be. "It's nothing." "Is it the girl?" Marcus asked from across the table. He was the only one there who knew the whole situation. "The librarian?" The other board members exchanged glances. "What girl?" Victoria asked. "No girl," Caleb said quickly. "A girl he met on an app," Marcus continued, completely ignoring Caleb's murderous look. "She thinks he's an electrician." The silence that followed was deafening. "Electrician?" Victoria repeated slowly. "You, founder of an $800 million company, are pretending to be an electrician to a woman?" "I said I work with energy," she assumed. "And you didn't correct her?" "No." Victoria rubbed her temples. "Caleb, the gala is going to have national press coverage. Your face is going to be everywhere. If this girl doesn't know who you are and finds out from a magazine or gossip site..." "I know. It's going to be a disaster. I know. So tell her beforehand." Caleb remained silent. "Or break up," Victoria continued. "One of the two options. I'm not going to finish." "Then tell me." "I will. I just need more time." "You have 1 week. The gala is Saturday." Caleb looked at the calendar on the wall. 7 days. 7 days to figure out how to tell Lily that he wasn't anything she thought he was. 7 days to find out if she would forgive him. "I'll work it out," he said. Victoria didn't look convinced. Marcus didn't either. And to be honest, Caleb wasn't sure either. But he had to try. Because Lily was the first person in years who made him feel it was worth being honest. Even if honesty could destroy everything. 3 days had passed since Megan's call. 3 days of Lily trying to ignore the voice in her head that kept repeating, "Mysterious men are dangerous." 3 days pretending everything was fine, and now she was walking with Caleb through Tom McCall Park by the river, trying not to freak out. "You're quiet today," Caleb said. "Me? Quiet? I'm never quiet. I'm the opposite of quiet. I'm a person who literally talks to traffic lights." "You talk to traffic lights?" "Sometimes, when they don't cooperate. But that's not the point. The point is I'm not being quiet. You're talking very fast. I always talk fast. Faster than usual. Maybe I had too much coffee." "Did you have coffee today?" "No." Caleb stopped walking and turned to her. "Lily, what's going on?" She looked at him. At that handsome face she still couldn't believe was interested in her. At the eyes that always seemed to be hiding something. "Nothing," she said. That wasn't convincing. "I know. I'm terrible at lying. My face does weird things when I lie." Once I tried to lie to my mother about who ate the last piece of pie and my left eye started twitching. She knew right away. So tell me the truth. Lily took a deep breath. Megan's voice echoed in her head. Men with no digital footprint are suspicious. Caleb. Yes? Do you trust me? The question came out softer than she intended, almost fragile. Caleb opened his mouth to answer, and hesitated. It was quick. Less than a second. A blink of an eye. But Lily saw it, felt it, like a small knife slowly sliding between her ribs. Of course I trust you, he said. Too late. You hesitated. I didn't hesitate. Yes, you did. I saw it. It was small, but it was real. You thought before answering. Lily, why did you need to think? Trust isn't something you think about. It's something you feel. Either you feel it or you don't. And you clearly needed a moment to decide what to say. Caleb ran his hand through his hair, a gesture Lily was beginning to recognize as a sign of nervousness. It's complicated. Complicated how? Complicated in a way I can't explain right now. Why? Because there are things I need to tell you, but this isn't the right time. Lily felt her stomach sink. That's exactly what my ex said before revealing he'd been dating someone else for 6 months. I'm not dating anyone else. Then what are you hiding? I'm not hiding anything. Caleb, you don't exist on the internet. He froze. What? My friend looked you up. Caleb Morgan, Portland. Nothing. 0 results. It's like you're a made-up character, an illusion. A very convincing hologram with good looks and the ability to fix sandals. Your friend looked me up. She's protective and paranoid, but mostly protective. And what did she conclude? That you're a spy, or a criminal, or someone with 3 families in different states. Caleb was quiet for a moment. 3 families? There was a documentary. That's not the point. Lily, I'm not a spy, a criminal, and I don't have secret families. Then what are you? He opened his mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I'm me. That's not an answer. It's the only one I can give right now. Lily felt her eyes burning. Not from anger. From something worse. Disappointment. You know what's funny? She said, her voice shaking a little. I almost looked you up the other night. I picked up my phone, typed your name, and stopped, because I thought, no, I'm going to trust him. He'll tell me when he's ready. Lily, I chose to trust you, and now you're telling me you can't be honest with me, that it's not the right time. That it's complicated. It is complicated. Everything is complicated. Life is complicated, but when you care about someone, you get complicated together. You don't just stand around waiting for the perfect moment that's never going to come. Caleb took a step toward her. I care about you, a lot, more than I should after such a short time. Then tell me. I can't, not yet. Why? Because I'm afraid of losing you. Lily laughed, a bitter laugh without humor. And you think hiding things from me is going to help you keep me? He didn't respond. That doesn't work, Caleb. Secrets don't work. They seem like protection, but they're poison. They eat everything away from the inside until nothing's left. I know. Then talk. I can't. Not now. Lily nodded slowly. She felt a tear run down her face and wiped it away angrily. Fine, she said. Fine. Lily, I need some time to think, to process. Are you breaking up with me? I don't know what I'm doing. I just know my chest is hurting, and I don't like this feeling. She turned around and started walking in the opposite direction. Lily, wait. She didn't wait. She kept walking. Quick steps, blurred vision, tight chest. Behind her, Caleb stood still, motionless, watching the only person who made him feel real walk away. And he couldn't say a single word to make her stay. That night, Lily cried in the shower. Then she cried in bed. Then she cried to the ceiling, which offered no useful advice. You could at least pretend you're listening to me, she said to the ceiling fan. That's the least you could do. The fan kept spinning, indifferent. Her phone beeped. A message from Caleb. I'll tell you everything. I promise. Just give me until Saturday, please. Lily looked at the message for a long time. Saturday, 4 days from now. What could happen in 4 days that would change everything? She didn't know. But something told her she was about to find out. Saturday arrived. And with it, an unexpected call. Lily, I need a huge favor, said her coworker Diane, with the voice of someone who was on the edge of a nervous breakdown. My babysitter canceled, my husband is traveling, and I had committed to volunteering at the Innovation and Arts Gala tonight. The what gala? It's a fancy event, really fancy, like rich people smelling like money and champagne. I was going to serve appetizers. You just need to wear black clothes, smile, and not drop anything. Lily looked at the ceiling of her apartment. Diane, you know who you're calling, right? I'm the person who drops things professionally. Please. They pay $100 for the night, and there's free food. $100. Free food, and a perfect distraction to stop thinking about Caleb and his mysterious message. All right, Lily said. But when I drop a tray of shrimp on some millionaire, that's on you. The Portland Innovation and Arts Gala was happening at the Grand Hall of the Convention Center. Lily arrived through the service entrance at 6 in the evening, wearing black pants, black shirt, and flat shoes, because she learned from her mistakes. Sometimes. The volunteer coordinator was a woman named Patricia, who wore a headset and had the energy of someone who survives exclusively on coffee and stress. Are you Diane's replacement? I am. Lily Carter, professional at holding trays and not making eye contact. Patricia didn't laugh. Great. You'll circulate through the main hall offering champagne. Don't talk to the guests unless they talk to you first. Don't give opinions about anything. Don't trip. That last instruction is going to be a challenge, but I'll try. Patricia had already left. Lily grabbed her tray of champagne glasses and walked to the entrance of the main hall. And stopped. The place was ridiculous. Crystal chandeliers the size of small cars, tables decorated with flowers that probably cost more than her rent, people in dresses that sparkled and suits that looked like they were sewn by angels. A live orchestra playing in the corner. I don't belong here, Lily murmured to the tray. You understand, don't you? We're from another world, a world where the dishes are plastic and the music comes from cheap speakers. The tray didn't respond. At least you listened to me. She started circulating. Polite smile, straight posture, offering champagne to people who probably had champagne in their home faucets. Everything was going well, until it wasn't. There was a commotion near the main staircase, camera flashes, excited murmurs, the crowd moving toward some central point. Lily stretched her neck, curious, and then she saw Caleb coming down the staircase, but not the Caleb she knew. Not the Caleb in worn jacket and simple t-shirt. This Caleb wore an impeccable black suit, so well cut it seemed to have been sculpted on him. Hairstyled, posture of someone who commanded rooms. Next to him, 2 men in suits and an elegant woman who seemed to be a press secretary. Photographers were snapping flashes non-stop. Reporters were shouting questions. Mr. Morgan, what's the forecast for next quarter? Caleb, is it true the company is expanding to Europe? Can you comment on the partnership with the federal government? Lily felt her legs freeze. Morgan, Mr. Morgan, company, partnership with the federal government. Her brain tried to process the information, but it was like trying to download a file that was too heavy. No, she whispered. No, no, no. A woman next to her turned around. Are you okay, dear? I need tray, champagne, work. Lily spun on her heels and started walking in the opposite direction. Fast. Almost running. The tray shaking in her hands. She needed to get out of there. She needed air. She needed a hole in the ground to hide in. Excuse me, a voice said behind her. Champagne? Lily turned around automatically, extending the tray, and came face to face with Caleb. There, in front of her, less than 3 feet away. His eyes widened. Lily? What are you doing here? What am I doing here? What are you doing here? I mean, apparently you're being photographed by 50 people and called Mr. Morgan like you own something, which raises several questions about your electrician career. Lily, I can explain. Explain what? That you lied? That you're not who you said you were? That I spent weeks thinking I was dating a normal guy and I was actually dating. She looked around, at the chandeliers, at the photographers, at everything. This? I was going to tell you. When? After the wedding? On the honeymoon? Oh, honey, I forgot to mention I'm ridiculously rich and famous. Could you pass the sunscreen? Today. I was going to tell you today. That's why I asked you to wait until Saturday. Lily felt her eyes burning. You made me look like an idiot. No. I defended you, to my friend, to myself. I said he'll tell me when he's ready. And this whole time you were this. I'm the same person, Lily, the guy from the coffee shop, the guy who fixed your sandal. That hasn't changed. Everything has changed. A tear rolled down her face. She wiped it away angrily. Lily, please. I need to go. She shoved the tray into his hands. Caleb Morgan, the apparently owner of $1 million company, now holding champagne glasses like a confused waiter, and walked away. Fast, without looking back. And for the first time since they'd met, Caleb didn't go after her. Because he knew that at that moment, there was nothing he could say. The truth had exploded in the worst possible way, and the pieces had hit them both. Lily had taken exactly 12 steps toward the exit when she heard the commotion behind her. Mr. Morgan? Mr. Morgan, where are you going? Caleb, the interview. Someone grabbed these glasses. She didn't look back. She kept walking. 13 steps. 14. 15. A hand grabbed her wrist. Lily, wait. She turned around. Caleb was there, out of breath, his $10,000 suit slightly disheveled, still holding a champagne glass he had apparently forgotten to put down. Behind him, halfway across the ballroom, a group of assistants, photographers, and reporters watched the scene like it was a live episode of a soap opera. You're making a scene, Lily said through gritted teeth. I don't care. There are at least 30 people taking pictures of us right now. I don't care. You're going to be on the cover of some magazine tomorrow with the headline, Billionaire Chases Mysterious Waitress. I really don't care. Lily pulled her wrist, but he didn't let go. Let me leave. Not before you hear me out. I don't want to listen. 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. For what? So you can explain why you lied for weeks? To make up another pretty story? To tell you the truth, the whole truth. Lily looked at him, at the eyes that seemed genuinely desperate, at the hand that still held her wrist like he was afraid she would evaporate. 3 minutes, she said. And not here. Caleb guided her to a side door that led to an empty hallway, away from the flashes, away from the stairs, just the two of them, and the awkward silence. Talk, Lily said, crossing her arms. Caleb took a deep breath. I have money, a lot of money. I'm co-founder of a clean energy company. My face appears in business magazines. My name is on lists of most successful young entrepreneurs, and I hate it. You hate being rich? I hate what money does to the people around me. Lily stayed silent. Do you know how many times I've dated someone who researched my net worth before the first date? He continued. Once, a woman asked me about investment diversification during dessert. Another one broke up with me when she found out I had donated part of my fortune to charity because it affected future potential. I became a number, an opportunity, a prize to be won. So you decided to lie. I decided to hide myself. On first dates, I wear simple clothes, choose cheap places, drive an old car to see if the person likes me. The real Caleb, not the Caleb from the headlines. Lily felt something tighten in her chest, anger, sadness, and an annoying pang of understanding she didn't want to feel. And me? She asked. What was I? A test? At first, yes, but then what? Then you drowned your phone in my coffee, and I realized you were the most ridiculous and genuine person I'd ever met. Lily let out a humorless laugh. How romantic. I fell in love when you destroyed electronic property in my drink. I fell in love when you apologized to your broken sandal, when you compared the coffee to a depressed toaster, when you wrote that your dream was to have a fat dog named Ham. She felt her eyes burn. You read my note on the wall? I did, and I wrote on mine that I wanted to find someone who would make me truly laugh. And then I looked at you and thought, that's her. That's the crazy girl who talks to inanimate objects. A tear rolled down Lily's face. She wiped it away angrily. You should have told me. I know. Earlier. Much earlier. I know. I felt like an idiot, Caleb, defending you, trusting you, while you hid an entire life from me. I was scared. Of what? Of losing you. Of you looking at me differently. Of you starting to see me as the billionaire instead of the guy who doesn't know how to fold napkins. Lily sobbed. A ridiculous sob, the kind that comes out when you're trying not to cry and fail miserably. That's not fair, she said. You can't say things like that when I'm trying to stay mad at you. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I'm trying to be honest, finally. Too late. I know, but it's all I have. They stood in silence for a moment. The noise from the event leaked through the walls. Music, conversations, a reality that seemed to belong to another universe. I need to go, Lily said. Lily, I need to think, process. I can't do this now, with you in front of me wearing that ridiculously handsome suit and saying things that make my heart ache. The suit is ridiculously handsome? This isn't the time for jokes. Sorry. Defense mechanism. Lily took a step back, then another. I'm leaving now. Can I call you? I don't know. Tomorrow? I don't know. Next week? Caleb. I'll wait as long as it takes. Just don't give up on me, please. She looked at him one last time, at the man who had lied, who had hidden things, who was afraid of being loved for the wrong reason, and she understood. Deep down she understood. But understanding wasn't the same as forgiving. I need time, she said, and then she turned and walked to the exit, this time slowly, without running, without drama. Just a girl with a broken heart trying to remember how to put one foot in front of the other. Behind her, Caleb Morgan, company founder, magazine cover, fortune owner, stood still in the empty hallway, alone, like he had always been before she appeared. That night, across town, Lily found an envelope under her apartment door. No stamp, no return address, just her name written by hand. The envelope sat on the kitchen table for 3 days. Lily walked past it every morning, looked away, pretended it didn't exist, as if ignoring a letter could make the feelings disappear along with it. You're judging me, she told the toaster on the second day. I know you are. Stop looking at me like that. The toaster continued being a toaster. Great. Silence. Everyone in this house is an expert at silence now. On the third day, she tried watching television. It didn't work. She tried reading a book. The words didn't make sense. She tried cooking, but burned the pasta. Pasta. The simplest dish in the universe. How do I burn pasta? She asked the pot. You literally just need boiling water. It's a one-step task. 1. The pot offered no explanations. Megan called on the 4th day. Are you alive? Technically. Did you see the news? No. There's a picture of you with him. At the event. You're making a very strange face. Wonderful. Now I'm an internet meme. It's not a meme. It's more like, mysterious woman captures billionaire's attention. You're famous. I was holding a champagne tray. And now you're the champagne tray Cinderella. Romance of the century. Megan, I don't want to talk about this. Did he try to contact you? Lily was quiet for a moment. Lily? He sent a letter. A letter? Like paper? With an envelope? That you open with your hands? That's the general concept of a letter, yes. How old-fashioned, how romantic, how completely like a movie. I haven't opened it. What do you mean you haven't opened it? It's on my kitchen table. For 3 days. Lily Carter, are you telling me that a gorgeous billionaire sent you a handwritten letter because I'm sure it's handwritten, these guys make everything cinematic, and you haven't opened it? I don't know if I want to know what's written in it. Why? Because if it's something beautiful, I'm going to cry. And if it's something bad, I'm also going to cry. Either way, I'm going to cry and I'm tired of crying. Lily. What? Open the letter, you emotional coward. I'm not a coward. You've been avoiding a piece of paper for 3 days. That's certified and stamped cowardice. What if I regret it? What if you spend the rest of your life wondering what was written in it? Lily fell silent. Open it, Megan said. Now, while I'm on the phone. That way if you cry, I'll cry with you. That doesn't make me feel better. It wasn't supposed to make you feel better. It was supposed to make you act. Open it. Lily looked at the envelope on the table. White. Simple. With her name written in cursive that was too beautiful to belong to any normal person. Okay, she said. I'm going to open it. Finally. But if I have an emotional breakdown, it's your fault. I accept responsibility. Now open it already. Lily put the phone on speaker, sat down in the kitchen chair, and pulled the envelope closer. She took a deep breath and opened it. Inside there were 2 sheets of paper, handwritten as Megan had predicted. The handwriting was elegant, careful, as if each word had been thought about 1,000 times before being put on paper. What does it say? Megan asked. Wait, let me read. Lily began reading out loud. Lily, I wrote this letter 7 times. The first 6 are crumpled up in my office trash. My assistant probably thinks I've lost my mind. He's not entirely wrong. He threw away 6 letters, Megan commented. That's dedication or obsession. Maybe both. Megan, shut up. Sorry, continue. I could have sent a text or an email, or hired a plane to write in the sky. My lawyer said that would be excessive and possibly illegal depending on the airspace. But I wanted you to know that I spent time on this. That I sat down, thought, and put on paper everything I couldn't say when you were in front of me. I lied to you. Not with direct words, but with omissions, with half-truths, with a version of myself that was real, but incomplete. And I understand if you never forgive me for that. But I need you to know one thing. I didn't fall in love with you despite the chaos. I fell in love with you because of it. Lily felt her voice falter. Continue, Megan whispered. You're the only person I know who apologizes to inanimate objects, who turns a broken sandal into Shakespearean drama, who looks at a metal sculpture and sees a middle-aged broccoli having a crisis. You're absurd, chaotic, completely unpredictable, and you're the most real thing that's ever happened in my life. Lily, Megan said, her voice choked up. I'm gonna cry. You said you'd cry with me. I didn't think it was going to be this beautiful. Lily continued reading, tears already streaming down her face. I've spent years surrounded by people who calculate every word, every gesture, every smile, people who see me as an investment, as an opportunity, as a number. You saw me as the guy who doesn't know how to fold napkins. And that was enough for you. I never had that before. Someone who liked me without needing a financial reason. I should have told you the truth on the first day. On the second, at any moment before you found out in the worst possible way. But I was scared. Scared of seeing your expression change. Scared of becoming just another person you look at differently. And in the end, my fear caused exactly what I was trying to avoid. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking for a chance to deserve forgiveness. If you want to see me, I'll be at Maple Bean Cafe. The same place where you told me about baths in the dark, and I knew I was lost. Sunday, noon. I'll stay there until they close the doors if I have to. If you don't show up, I'll understand. It will hurt like nothing has ever hurt before. But I'll understand. But if you come, I promise I'll never hide anything from you again. Not the big secrets, not the small ones, not even the fact that I secretly watch reality shows, you got that one right. Or that my middle name is Eugene and I deeply hate it. His middle name is Eugene? Megan let out a wet laugh. Megan, sorry, it's just it doesn't fit with Billionaire. I want to love you the way you are. Chaotic, brilliant, transparent. And I want you to love me the way I am. Complicated, imperfect, desperately in love with a librarian who talks to toasters. Yours, if you'll still have me, Caleb Eugene Morgan. P.S. I looked it up. Basset hounds get fat easily. When you're ready, we can adopt one and call him Ham. Lily finished reading. The silence on the other end of the line lasted a full 5 seconds. Lily, Megan finally said. What? If you don't go find this man on Sunday, I'm going myself and I'll marry him. Lily laughed. A wet laugh, choked up, mixed with a sob. He remembers Ham, she said. He remembers the fat dog. This man loves you. I know. And you love him. Lily looked at the letter in her hands, at the carefully written words, at the signature at the end. I do, she admitted out loud for the first time. I love that lying fool who doesn't know how to fold napkins. Then you know what you have to do. Lily looked at the calendar on the wall. Sunday was tomorrow. I know, she said. I know. Sunday. 11:47 in the morning. Lily was standing in front of the mirror having a nervous breakdown. This dress is wrong, she said to her reflection. No, wait. The dress is right. I'm wrong. I'm the problem. I'm always the problem. The green dress didn't answer. At least that one knew how to stay quiet. She had changed clothes 4 times. The first option was too formal. The second was too casual. The third had a coffee stain she only noticed after putting it on. The fourth was this one, a simple green dress that Megan had approved by text with a "Go now before you chicken out." 11:52. The Maple Bean Cafe is 15 minutes away. If she left now, she'd arrive right on time. If she left now, just put one foot in front of the other, she said to her shoes. You know how to do this. It's literally your only job. The shoes remained motionless. Great. General rebellion. First the dress from the first time, now you. Nobody in this house supports me. Her phone beeped. Text from Megan. If you're not on your way, I'm personally coming to your house to drag you by your hair. Lily took a deep breath and left. The Maple Bean Cafe looked the same. Same brick walls, same smell of roasted beans, same feeling of a depressed toaster that Lily would never be able to separate from this place. She stopped at the door. Through the glass, she could see Caleb. He was sitting at the same table from their first date. The corner table, near the window. But he wasn't looking at the door. He was looking at his own hands, his fingers drumming nervously on the table. He was wearing jeans. A simple blue t-shirt. No suit. No billionaire. Just him. Lily pushed the door. The little bell rang. Caleb looked up, and for a moment, neither of them moved. Then he stood up. So fast he almost knocked over the chair. He stood there on the other side of the cafe, with an expression that was half relief and half absolute terror. "You came," he said. "I came. I wasn't sure if you would come. I wasn't sure either." Lily walked to the table, slowly, each step weighing like lead. When she reached him, she stopped. The distance between them was less than 3 feet, but it felt like an ocean. "Hi," she said. "Hi. You look different without the $10,000 suit. 15,000 actually. Should that make me feel better?" "No, that was unnecessary information. I'm nervous. I say unnecessary things when I'm nervous." "I know. Me too." They stood in silence for a moment. "I read your letter," Lily said. "I figured, since you're here." "You threw away 6 versions?" 7, actually. The one you got was the 8th. What was wrong with the others?" "Everything. I sounded too desperate, or too cold, or like a complete fool. In the final version, I only sounded like a partial fool, so I decided that was the best I was going to manage." Lily felt the corner of her mouth twitch. "You sound like a fool now, too." "I know. It's my default setting around you." "Caleb." "Yes? I'm still mad at you." He swallowed hard. "I know. You lied to me. For weeks, you made a fool out of me. I know, and I'm sorry. More than I can put into words." "You put plenty of words in that letter." 8 versions of words." Lily sighed. A tear rolled down her face. She wiped it away angrily. "I hate that you make me cry. I hate it too. And I hate that I still like you even after everything." "You still like me?" Lily looked at him, at the brown eyes full of hope, at the hands that still trembled slightly, at the man who had built an empire and was standing there, vulnerable, waiting for her verdict. "I shouldn't," she said. "Logically, rationally, I should turn around and never look at your face again. But I'm terrible at logic, and at rational decisions, and at walking away from people who make me laugh." "I make you laugh?" "Sometimes, when you're not making me cry." Caleb took a step forward, slowly, as if he were approaching a frightened animal. "Lily, I promise I'll never hide anything from you again. Not the big secrets, not the small ones, not even the fact that I'm afraid of clowns and cry watching dog movies." "You cry at dog movies?" "Always. It's embarrassing. Marcus never lets me forget it." Lily laughed, a wet laugh mixed with tears. "That's pathetic, I know, and kind of adorable. I'll take kind of adorable." She took a step forward too. The distance between them was now just inches. "If you hurt me again, I won't. If you hide anything else, I won't. If you have any more secret fortune or alternate identity, just the fortune. No alternate identity, unless you count the fake account I created to spy on dog memes." "You have a fake account for dog memes?" "The name is Mr. Happy Bark. I'm not proud of it." Lily laughed again, louder this time. A laugh that shook her shoulders and made her eyes water even more. "You're ridiculous. I know, and I love you." The words came out before she could hold them back. Raw, honest, true. Caleb stopped breathing. "You? What?" "I love you, you lying fool who cries at dog movies and has secret meme accounts." He held her face with both hands, gently, as if she were made of something precious. "I love you too," he said. "I've loved you since the moment you compared this coffee to a depressed toaster. That was on the first date." "I know, I'm quick like that. It's scary." And then he kissed her. It wasn't a perfect movie kiss. Her nose bumped his first. She laughed in the middle, he laughed too. But when they finally adjusted, when their lips truly met, the whole world disappeared. It was a long kiss, full of relief, full of promise, full of everything they had been afraid to lose. When they separated, Lily was crying and laughing at the same time. "That was good," she said. "Just good? Very good. But don't let it go to your head." Caleb smiled. That smile she had catalogued since the first day. Never. He pulled her into a hug, tight, as if he would never let go. And there, in the middle of Maple Bean Cafe, surrounded by the smell of depressed toaster and the sound of cups, Lily Carter finally allowed herself to believe that maybe chaos wasn't a flaw. That maybe it was exactly what he needed. 6 months, 183 days, approximately 4,300 hours. Lily had done the math because she was that kind of person now, someone who counted time since her life had been turned upside down in the best possible way. 6 months since the reunion at the coffee shop. 6 months since the first real kiss. 6 months of learning that dating an extremely rich man wasn't so different from dating someone normal, except for the fact that sometimes he would send a car to pick her up from work and the car cost more than her entire apartment. "You're talking to yourself again," Megan said from the other end of the line. I wasn't talking to myself. I was organizing thoughts out loud. That's the definition of talking to yourself. That's the definition of being a complex person with a rich inner life. That's the definition of someone who needs more human friends and fewer conversations with appliances. Lily looked at the toaster in Caleb's apartment. It was a $200 toaster that made 4 slices at once and had digital settings. She still hadn't forgiven the toaster for being so obviously sophisticated. "I have human friends," Lily said. "I have you. I'm basically your only friend. Quality over quantity. That's what lonely people say to feel better." "Megan, why did you call?" "To hear about today's date. Caleb said it was special." "What does special mean? Fancy dinner? Surprise trip? Is he taking you to meet the queen of some small country?" "He said we were going back to Maple Bean Cafe, the place of our first date." The silence on the other end of the line lasted a full 3 seconds. "Lily? What?" "Maple Bean Cafe, the place where we had our first date. He said it was special. Aren't you connecting the dots?" "What dots?" "The obvious dots. The dots that any person with 2 working brain cells would connect." Lily frowned. "I really don't know what you're talking about." Megan made a sound that was half laugh, half scream of frustration. "Lily Carter, you're the smartest and dumbest person I know at the same time." "Thank you?" "That wasn't a compliment. Go get ready, wear that blue dress he likes, and for the love of all that's holy, don't drop anything today." "I can't promise that. Dropping things is part of my identity." "Then at least try not to drop anything on him." Megan hung up. Lily stared at her phone, confused. What did Megan mean by connecting the dots? The Maple Bean Cafe looked exactly the same. Same brick walls, same yellowish lighting, same smell that Lily still described internally as melancholy toaster. Because once she had used depressed, and now she was trying to vary her vocabulary. Caleb was already there when she arrived, at the same corner table, near the window. Just like the first time. He stood up when she walked in. He was wearing a navy blue shirt that matched his eyes and dark pants. Handsome. Annoyingly handsome. 6 months and Lily still hadn't gotten used to that the fan was hers. "Hi," he said. "You look beautiful." "I'm wearing the blue dress I always wear when you say I look beautiful. You're very predictable." "Or you're very beautiful in that dress." Or that. She sat in the chair across from him. The same chair from 6 months ago. From the first date. From the time she arrived late, disheveled, and compared the establishment to an appliance with emotional problems. "So," Lily said, "why are we here? Can't I want to revisit memories?" "You can, but you also could have taken me to that Italian restaurant you like, where the waiter pretends he doesn't recognize me every time, even though I spilled a glass of wine on his shirt once. He definitely recognizes you." "I know, he's just too polite to admit it." Caleb laughed. That laugh that Lily knew so well now. Laugh number 7, amused with a hint of nervousness. Nervousness? Lily looked at him more closely. His fingers were drumming on the table. His foot under the chair was moving constantly. He was fidgeting with his napkin in a way that was going to end up tearing the paper. "You're acting strange," she said. "I'm not acting strange." "Yes, you are. You're doing that thing with the napkin. You only do that when you're nervous." Caleb looked at his own hands, at the partially destroyed napkin. "I hadn't noticed." "Clearly. What's going on?" "Nothing. Everything's fine. Let's order coffee." He raised his hand to call the waiter with suspicious urgency. Lily watched him with narrowed eyes. The waiter approached. It was the same waiter from their first date. Lily recognized him because he had the same, "I don't get paid enough for this" expression from 6 months ago. "What will you have?" he asked. "2 Americanos," Caleb said quickly. "Actually," Lily interrupted, "I want a cappuccino today, with extra cinnamon, and one of those blueberry muffins, if you still have them. And maybe a glass of water because cappuccino sometimes makes me thirsty afterward, which doesn't make sense because technically I'm drinking a liquid, but the human body is mysterious like that." The waiter blinked. So, cappuccino, muffin, water, and maybe an extra napkin because my boyfriend is destroying this one. Caleb looked down. The napkin was in pieces. Sorry, he mumbled. The waiter wrote everything down with the patience of a saint and walked away. Caleb Morgan, Lily said, crossing her arms. What's going on? Nothing. You're lying. I'm not lying. Your left ear is red. Your left ear always turns red when you lie. It's your poker tell. You'd be terrible at card games. Caleb instinctively brought his hand to his ear. That's not true. Yes, it is. I figured it out in the 3rd month, when you tried to pretend you hadn't eaten the last piece of my chocolate cake. That cake was in my apartment. It was my cake. I had written Lily on the container. I thought it was a suggestion. It was a property warning. The coffee arrived. Lily's cappuccino had a leaf design in the foam that was genuinely pretty. She almost felt bad about being about to destroy it. So, she said, picking up the cup, are you going to tell me, or do I have to guess? Caleb took a deep breath. Lily? Yes? I brought you here for a reason. I figured. You're not the kind of person who does things without a reason. You schedule meetings to decide what show to watch on weekends. That was one time. Once is enough for me to never forget. Caleb stood up from his chair. Lily frowned. What are you doing? He moved to the side of the table. And then, slowly, with a determination that seemed rehearsed, he knelt down, on the floor, of the coffee shop, in front of her. Lily's brain stopped working. Caleb, she said, her voice going up an octave, what are you doing? Get up. The floor is dirty. There's coffee residue here. Probably germs. Lots of germs. Germs I don't even want to think about. He didn't get up. Instead, he pulled out a small box from his pocket. A small box. Velvet. Blue. Lily Carter, he said. No. No. Caleb, don't do this. Not here. Not now. I'm holding a cappuccino cup, and I don't know where to put it. If I try to put it on the table, I'm going to spill it. I know myself. I know how this story ends. Lily. And I'm not emotionally prepared. I didn't even put on mascara today. If I cry, and I'm going to cry, we both know I'm going to cry, I'm going to look like a raccoon. A crying raccoon. Is that what you want? To propose to a raccoon? Lily. And another thing, everyone is looking. Look around. All these people. Looking. At us. This is social pressure. This is emotional terrorism. Lily. What? Can you let me talk? She closed her mouth. Her hands were shaking so much that the cappuccino was making waves inside the cup. Caleb opened the box. Inside was a ring. Simple. Elegant. With a diamond that wasn't ridiculously big, because he knew her. He knew she would complain if it was too flashy. Lily Carter, he began again, 6 months ago you walked into this coffee shop late, disheveled, and compared the place to a depressed toaster. Melancholy. I upgrade my vocabulary now. Lily? Sorry, continue. 6 months ago, you drowned your phone in my coffee, destroyed a napkin without realizing it, and made me laugh more than I had laughed in years. You saw me without knowing who I was. You liked me without knowing what I had. You were the first person in a long time who made me feel like I was enough. Just me. Without the rest. Lily's eyes were overflowing. Tears were streaming down her face steadily. Caleb, I know I lied to you. I know I made a mistake. I know I almost lost you because of my fear. But you gave me a second chance. You forgave me. You loved me even after everything. Because you're an adorable fool who cries at dog movies. Exactly. And I want to be your adorable fool forever. He lifted the box a little higher. Lily Carter, will you marry me? The entire coffee shop was silent, complete, absolute. Lily could hear her own heart beating. She opened her mouth to answer, and spilled the cappuccino. The cup fell over, the liquid spread across the table, ran over the edge, and dripped directly onto Caleb's head. Cappuccino, with extra cinnamon, in his hair, on his shirt, in the most important moment of their lives. Oh my God, Lily said, jumping up from her chair so fast she almost fell. Oh my God, I can't believe it, I literally can't believe it. Megan said not to spill anything, she said specifically, and Lily. I ruined your proposal. I ruined it with cappuccino. This is going to be the story we tell the kids. How did Daddy propose to Mommy? Well, she threw coffee on his head. Lily, I'm a disaster. I'm literally a walking disaster. Are you sure you want to marry this? Because this is me. This is for life. Cappuccino at inappropriate moments forever. Lily, she finally stopped talking. Caleb was still kneeling. with cappuccino dripping down his face, with cinnamon in his hair, with the ring box still open in his hand. And he was laughing, belly laughing, like it was the funniest thing in the world. "This," he said between laughs, "is exactly why I want to marry you. Because I throw hot drinks at you? Because you're chaotic and unpredictable and completely absurd, and I can't imagine my life without this chaos." Lily let out a laugh, a wet laugh mixed with a sob. "You're crazy." "I am. So?" He held out the box once more. "Will you marry me, cappuccino and all?" Lily looked at him, at the man kneeling on the dirty floor of a coffee shop, covered in drink, smiling like she was the best thing that had ever happened to him. "Yes," she said. "Yes, you fool. 1,000 times yes." Caleb jumped up, took her hand, put the ring on her finger, and then kissed her, a kiss that tasted like cappuccino and cinnamon and promise. The entire cafe exploded in applause. Lily laughed against his lips. "You're all sticky," she said. "Your fault." "I know, sorry." "Don't apologize. It was perfect." "It wasn't perfect. It was a disaster. It was perfectly ours." She hugged him, tight, not caring about the cappuccino on his clothes, or the people staring, or the fact that she was crying so hard she could barely see. "I love you," she said. "I love you too, even covered in coffee." "Especially covered in coffee." He laughed. She laughed. And there, in the middle of Maple Bean Cafe, surrounded by the smell of wistful toast and the applause of strangers, Lily Carter realized she had found her place. It wasn't a physical place. It was him. It was the chaos they created together. It was the certainty that, no matter how many cups she spilled or how many napkins he destroyed, they would face everything side by side. Messy, imperfect, completely in love. And that, for Lily, was more than she had ever dared to dream. 3 months later, at the wedding, Lily tripped on her veil during the ceremony. Caleb laughed so hard he could barely say, "I do." And they all lived happily ever after. Including Ham, the chubby dog they adopted a week after the engagement. He was a basset hound, and he was absolutely perfect. What did you think of Lily and Caleb's chaotic journey? If you were in Lily's place, would you forgive Caleb? Leave your thoughts in the comments. On a scale of 0 to 10, what rating would you give this story? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to receive more touching stories like this one. See you next time.